So get up.
Top of the morning to ya.
Now, back to Sunrise on News Radio 880 KCMX.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 33 minutes after the hour here on the Sunrise Show. So glad you're tuned in. And I want to welcome onto the program Mark Christian, Dr. Mark Christian. He's the founder of Global Faith Institute. Get to his website, globalfaithinstitute.org. Chock full of information. If you want to understand what's going on the world stage with Islam, the background of the Middle East, he's written multiple books. They're there on his website, and so amazing. First, Mark, I want to welcome you onto the program. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be on your show, Greg.
Well, it is. It's an honor for me to have you on, actually. And last week, I mean, this has been planning in for months, and you saw what was going on in America. You're a born-again Christian, and born and raised in Egypt. And it's just amazing. And you put on an event called Israel in the Heartland, a night to honor Israel, last Thursday, the 19th. And you had a lot of, after when you got right down to it, it was at the local country club there in Nebraska. And the issue became that, one of the featured speakers had to kind of back out. But that did not stop you. And come to find out, you had an amazing night. Tell our audience about it.
You know what? I do not give up, Greg, and I encourage everybody not to ever give up. If you have a dream, if you have something in your heart that you feel that God is calling you to do it, or you feel like this is what you need to do, then never give up. And this is exactly what this whole, fiasco of this event taught me at the end. To give you a little bit about my background for people who are listening for me for the first time, I grew up in Egypt as a Sunni Muslim. Very big family of Muslim Brotherhood relationship, also military relationship. I myself served in the Egyptian military, and my dad as well. He was a lieutenant general in the military, and he's still alive until today. He is one of the consultants for the Muslim Brotherhood organization. So for somebody with my background to put an event like this, it was supposed to be a piece of cake and easy, and everybody would be supporting because it's a story of redemption. But it was nothing like that whatsoever. Lots of opposition, and lots of opposition from Jewish community leaders who are very liberal and not supportive of my work or supportive of the truth to come out. And but we continue at it. We continue at it, and we finally had an event that was outstanding. The biggest problem that we have is the line for the food was longer than it should be, just because we had an overwhelming number of people showing up.
You had to turn people.
Were amazing, and it was an amazing night. And it was dancing the horror, the traditional Jewish dance.
And Mark, you had to turn people away.
For the first time ever, Greg. I'm a guy who loves to have people over, and love them to come. But the fire code, they told me, we cannot have more. That's it. And for the first time ever, I have to turn people away from this event, and it's amazing for that because 2 days before the event, I thought we all were going to have is 140, 120 people maximum. We end up have 340 people showing up at the event, and we had kosher meal, we have Mediterranean meal and stuff like that, and it was an amazing night. And I have to turn people away, say thank you, I'm sorry, I cannot have any more because the fire code of this, nice, avenue cannot have more than that.
Well, and you had Morton Klein. As he's the president of the Zionists of America, and you also had Elly Gross, a Holocaust survivor. That had to have been incredible.
It was an amazing presentation, and we're going to put the whole event on our website, and we're going to put it on DVDs. People who have never listened to the, Morton Klein before and his speech, he actually told me he have never been received the way he has been in business for 40-something years. Let me say that first. And he told me that this is the best event he has ever been had, and the best time he ever spoke by the people who are receiving him. And that's by itself a testimony of how people are hungry for the truth and hungry for, what is right and stopping that kind of political correctness and kumbaya that's going on. We have Elly Gross, we have other people. So the whole event is going to be on our website. And I really encourage people to listen to this because it was educational. How many people have listened to the national anthem of hope of Israel? How many people listened to Jerusalem of Gold, the song that the heart of many Jewish people? How many people learn about the problems that Israel is facing with its neighbors and so forth? You're going to learn a lot by, watching those 2 hours of video that we're going to put on our website.
That's going to be fantastic. And it was so interesting because it ties in, you'll know how much, is the elections with Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu last week. And looks like he made it through. But there's some tie-ins with the Obama administration and funding for his opposition.
I talked about that in the event, and you're going to see, what Netanyahu did in the last 2 days before the election was remarkable. He said 3 no's. The first no is no releasing of any terrorists from jail. And then the second no is no for Palestinian state the way it is right now. And that's remarkable by itself. To have the guts to come out and say that before the election, that's unbelievable. This is what he got him elected.
Exactly. Now, what was the third no? Let's see.
Yes, Netanyahu said no for terrorism, no for releasing of terrorists, no for Palestinian state, and I forgot the third no right now. I'm trying to remember that.
Okay, all right. It was no for terrorism, no for releasing, and no for the Palestinian state. Now, did he change that Palestinian state thing after? Did he kind of back off a little bit at that?
Well, he tried to explain what it is. He tried to explain that he's not going to negotiate a Palestinian state with the current leaders because he recognized that they are not willing and not sincere about their, asking for a Palestinian state. Oh, yeah, the third no, which is a very big, important one. He talked about the no for the dividing Jerusalem. And that is the biggest one. President Obama is constantly asking for getting back to 1967 borders, and many people don't understand what that is. That means that Israel give up Jerusalem, Eastern Jerusalem, which is everything about Jerusalem, back to the Arabs again, and not making it their capital of Israel anymore. And that by itself is impossible. There is no need for doing that, because Jerusalem is Jewish, 100%.
Exactly right, exactly. We've got a break going on. We'll be right back. More on this incredible night with Dr. Mark Christian coming up on News Radio 880 KCMX and the Sunrise Show. Back after this quick break.
Now, back to Sunrise on News Radio 880 KCMX.
Shout, shout, I'm talking to you, so come on. Shout!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 48 minutes after the hour, continuing with Dr. Mark Christian from the Global Faith Institute here at the Sunrise Show. Craig Fronick is your host. And Mark, it was an incredible evening. You're Israel in the Heartland, and to have a compliment from Morton Klein, who is a national figure, and have him there along with Elly Gross and the whole night, and to turn people away. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much. But it's congratulations for the prayers and congratulations for standing up for the truth. I hope this is going to be an indication of when you stand up for the truth and you stand up for what is right and don't never give up, that you can make a difference. And I think we did. I think the liberal, in our hometown, and it is a huge big force over here. I'm imposing names that nobody even dare to stand up in front of them or even talk to them when they're around, And then people look at me, who are you to do that? But, I have Jesus on my side. I have the truth on my side. So I'm not afraid from anybody, and I will never bow down to anybody because I only bow down to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, So this is a lesson that we need all to to learn from, that we have to stand up for what is right. And we have a problem with the election as well coming up, Greg, if you want to talk about that. Ted Cruz just announced his candidacy to the president. And as much as we are talking about the Netanyahu election, we need to talk about the election that's coming up in 2016 over the United States. This is going to be a defining, time in American history that will define how America is going to go and what direction America is going to be in and the future of our kids and grandkids. Big time.
Oh, it's huge. It was huge last presidential election, and it was kind of a slapdown because, President Obama worked his campaign, and he beat the Republicans. This is where I kind of go, ladies and gentlemen, the conservatives, the folks that are standing up for the values that they hold near and dear to their heart, how hard are you willing to fight, and what are you willing to give for it? And that's where they got beat.
The biggest problem that we are facing actually is that people think, at this point of time, they kind of give up. And this is what I'm saying is don't give up. And people are giving up and say, what, President Obama would say for another 2 years, we will take whatever disaster, is bringing on the conservative side of this country. And in 2 years, you'll be gone. Even Hillary, if she comes in, she was going to be like Bill. Everything is going to be much better than before. And at least I'm not going to have Obama. And this is the biggest problem. We are putting Obama as the problem, and he is not. The problem is within us as well, that we are divided, that we are not united in one topic. We don't know, we do not have a good candidate that can speak for conservative values, and nobody is having the good answers. Hear all the candidates. When you talk about evolution, when you talk about, gay rights, when you talk about anything, none of the candidates is ready and prepared with a statement that can be properly said and can be speaking for the conservative. Nobody has that.
They really don't. And you watched Mitt Romney, you kind of watched him go push. And then when it got right to the end, when he really needed to push hard, he caved.
Backed out.
Yeah.
He backed out, caved in, yes. Mitt Romney had a chance, had his gold chance when he was with President Obama debating over Benghazi. And he backed out. And this is defining moment for his win or loss. Somebody told him, do not push on this anymore. And that was the ultimate thing for him. If he pushed on Benghazi during that debate, he would have won the election, but he did not.
Yeah, and I found in my reading that the secretary, the ambassadors, when they go to a country, they are the personal representative of the President of the United States.
Yes.
They are.
Yes,
It is not just an election that there's some office over, down 17 blocks over from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They are a personal representative of the President of the United States, and they are representing, and they have a small chunk of land that is a sovereign nation, if you would. It is a sovereign
state.
Exactly.
When you have a consulate or an embassy, this is the United States. I had in my last, sorry for interrupting you, but I want to mention this. It's a very important fact. I'm very good friends with Chris Pronto. He was on the fight during Benghazi. And I had him in our last event, and we spoke. And if you go to our website, you will understand what kind of fight was going at the Benghazi consulate over there, and what kind of forces that was against Americans, and how much that was going on over there. And I asked him in our discussion, do you think this is an act of terrorism or it's act of war? We are keep on saying this is a terrorist act, this is a terrorist act. Yes, it's a terrorist act, but it's even bigger than that. It was an action of war against the United States of America by the level of forces, the number of people on the ground, and fighting the consulate, and fighting and killing great 4 Americans and fatally wounding another one. This was an act of war against the United States of America, and our president and our, Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, did nothing about it. We keep on talking about, is this a terrorist attack? This is not a terrorist attack. This was an act of war.
Oh, it was.
I wish people can go and listen to that interview.
And it was on the 11th of September. It was like almost a slapdown in our face.
Yes.
I mean, so, that, and I smelled a rat immediately, so... Well, Mark, it's fascinating always. I just want to congratulate you again on your Israel in the Heartland event. Want to hear more about it. We'll talk more about it. Of course, can't wait to get the video up and running. We'll help with that if we can. And Have a good week, sir. I'm sure you're probably going to rest just a little bit.
Yes, but the fight is keep going, and there is no time for rest. We have to keep going at it.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mark Christian from the Global Faith Institute. I urge you to get to his website, globalfaithinstitute.org. There's books and all types of information on there. We got to get going. There's a break coming up. The Bloomberg Market Update is next, right here on The Sunrise Show.